we are on week 5, and this week was a losing week, and I got spanked twice, and it might not be over yet. So let's get into it. I'm going to show you where things went wrong, what potentially I've been thinking about, and maybe potential strategies moving forward. But I'll need your input as well, I think. So I think last week, which was week 4, I was pretty happy, and I was almost borderline bragging that we'd got back up above our original account balance. This week, as you can see, week 5, absolute cliff dive. And again, I will go into it now. So that we had 1 winning trade and 2 losing trades. And the winning trade did not make me that much money, and the losing trade lost me a lot more money. So as you can tell from that, not a great ratio. I'm going to start with the winning trade, which was quite simple. It was a short on GBP CAD. The risk structure was 0.75 R of risk, and I came out with 1 R of profit. This was a predetermined trade. I didn't manage it. As you can see, there's been a number of these so far where actually they've just gone, they've run down. So which is quite frustrating, but again, like, it is what it is. I'm going to start referring to how much I win and lose in just terms of R rather than percentages, 1 R being a unit of risk that I'm comfortable with. And that way it will just hold me accountable, assuming that I have a standardized risk tolerance for my trading approach. But now we're going to get into the emotional ones, and one of the interesting points which I'd like your feedback with. So you're at AUD long. I thought that we had a fair chance of bouncing off this resistance zone, or support zone, should I say, last week. And this is what ended up happening. We got an entry around here. We hovered around the place. We then got triggered into an entry here. We bounced back up to this support zone or resistance zone. Support turned resistance, and then we dropped, came back up to it, and dropped all the way down for a 3R loss. So what are my immediate thoughts and feedback on this? Well, it's pretty simple, really. I think that because we've actually bounced back up to a clear support resistance zone, I think I would have been wiser just to adjust my take profit and try and adjust my take profit so that I could get out at roughly a break even. Now, from memory, I think because this happened so quickly and I was in work, I don't think I had time to adjust this take profit. And I think I then forgot. So I could have probably gone for a small bit of profit and got out of the trade, but I didn't. And then it just plummeted into oblivion. So key outcomes for that is I think I've got to just account for the risk structure of the trade. When there's a clear support resistance zone, maybe take that into account if I'm using support resistance as my trading gateways in terms of my structures and my rule-based systems. Maybe that's worth considering, because it's very unlikely to just shoot all the way through that kind of zone of resistance and support, although it could. I'm obviously not very good at guessing what direction the market's going to go. So who am I to say that? But from a theoretical, keep it simple perspective of risk management, I would have got out of this trade with roughly a 1R profit. I ended up losing 3R. So my next one, also a 3R loss, was AUD USD short. And again, my original hypothesis was if we could get a bit further up, given the price action, I thought we had a fair chance of bouncing back to the downside. And then I even gave it a little more wiggle room, thinking I'd fancy it even more to reverse if we could get up here. So I assumed I accounted for that with, I think it was the 3R. Oh, what was it? No, it was a 2R. This was a 2R loss. I don't know. It was a 3 or a 2. Can't remember. But yeah, so I think it was a 2R loss, this one. Well, no, it was a 3R loss. Ignore me, ignore me, ignore me. It was a 3R loss. So it's not a 2R loss. Ignore that. That's wrong. Because I'm losing 1, I'm losing 2, and then I'm losing 3. So, yeah, basically, I don't really know what to say about this one. I just think it's one of those. This is literally one that just didn't go in my favour. And I have no real learnings from this, to be honest. I don't know if you look at this and see anything different, but I just think that this is one of those. It didn't come back. It didn't touch. It didn't do anything really, I don't think. Or did it? Oh, did it? Maybe I got triggered here. Again, because of the week I've had, I've not been able to properly retrace the specific area that I got triggered in. But again, if I did, what would have happened here? I probably could have got out at a profit / break even here. So yeah, this could have been a profitable week if I'd have used that strategy. The only thing I don't like about this is if I start cutting my profit potential when we get that second entry point, I'm essentially risking 3R every time for a potential 1R return. And I don't really like that. It doesn't sit that well with me. However, based on these 2 occasions and before, it does appear that I potentially did get that bounce back up to that break even / 1R profit mark. So maybe I need to start thinking about that in terms of counterintuitively. If I get entered again, it's just a chance to bring that profit or bring that trade into a little bit of profit, if not a break even, and limit the downside rather than taking 2-3R losses. So for the week, -5R, horrendous. We've got 2 trades still open. We've got EuroCAD long, so I, at the minute, I'm quite happy on letting this one run. We've got an entry over here. It's a 2R, is it a 1.5R risk? I think it's well, this is wrong because both entries haven't been lost. Again, I've had a very busy week. This is probably why I've lost so much money this week relative to what I've been losing before, because it's just been a shit show. Even before this video, it took me about an hour and a half to actually just check what trades I'd been in. I didn't even know how much I'd won or lost. So that's rule number 2. Actually just make sure that you're in a headspace. And I'm talking to myself here, by the way, because I'm doing this for me. But make sure you're in a headspace, Scott, where you can actually understand why you're in a trade that you're in and you know that you're in it. Because that hasn't always happened this week. So I'm currently quite happy with this, even though we're down a little bit in terms of profit. We've got a second entry planned here. I think I'm going to, even though this isn't a clear resistance zone, I don't think, unless I look further left, which I will do, I think I might be adjusting my profit targets back to the downside if we get triggered. I think I'm going to start trialing this and see how we do. And then if in the case that we take our initial entry, it goes into profit, we win what we win, 1.5 to 2.5R. If we get triggered again, we come up and we at least break even on this position and maybe take 1R of profit. I don't know. GBP CHF short is also another position that I'm in, and similar position. I've still gone for the second entry. I'm still risking 1R, 2R, 3R. But again, I think what will happen is if I get triggered, there's a bit of a support resistance zone over here. I think I'll probably be reducing my take profit down to finish in a little bit of profit, because what I'll start doing is treating these as losing trades because I've got the initial entry wrong. So rather than letting a losing trade run, I think moving forward now, I'm going to start experimenting with treat it as a losing trade where you're trying to get out of it. You've already committed to losing 3R of your account. So let's try and recoup it, small bit of profit. And if you can minimize your losses, maximize your winners, not treating those two as winners if they get triggered, then I think that's the long-term play of how we become profitable and we can start scaling the account a little bit. I'm not comfortable to start scaling more money yet because I am still not that good, as you can see by this. So, I don't know what your thoughts are on that. If you are watching this at all, I'm currently not really pushing it. Again, this is just journaling for me, really. But if anybody is looking at this with a little bit of interest, then please do let me know. I am always interested in hearing the opinions of others, although I do realise opinions are like arseholes. Everyone's got one, not always the nicest or the most useful, depending on what day it is. So yeah, I will catch you in the next video, and I'll hopefully have a bit more of a positive update next week. You starting to trial this new method, and hopefully I will actually know what trades I'm in next week. So there is always that. But yes, I'll catch you for week 6, and I still need to do a week 4 or the first 5 weeks, maybe higher level video, which I'll do at some point. But again, I want to afford a bit of headspace for that because it needs a bit of reflection. So we will carry on. Still getting used to the old camera setup. So also the lighting on this one today, the camera's worse because I'm using my Mac. But actually, kind of like, as long as the sound's all right, I'm off screen for most of it anyway. So again, I'm still playing around with that, but there we go. See you next week for week 6.